And welcome back, everyone, to Box Office Report today on the 16th of June, 2024. And I'm on vacation, folks. Starting as of today, starting as I got out of work yesterday. I'm on vacation for a whole week, got the week off, so special announcement, expect some extra videos to be coming out this week. It's the week of What If, so you'll get your standard every What If every day, plus your standard Who Would Wins, the Lantern Corps, the Zanpakuto. I'm going to see the bike riders this week. So you're going to get the standard stuff. But because I have so much free time this week now, I've made a list of topics I'm wanting to discuss. So expect some extra videos to come out. But we're not here to talk about that silliness. We're here to talk about the box office. And not surprisingly, Inside Out 2 came in at number one with $155 million before the actuals come in. Bad Boys, Ride or Die, made another $33 million, dropping only 41.6%. Good counter programming. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes made number 3, $5.2 million, dropped only 4% after losing 555 screens. That's impressive. The Garfield movie dropped 50%, about roughly where you think it might go. Just make another $5 million, and The Watchers rounds out top 5 with $3.6 million. Surprisingly, only dropping 47.7%. I'm actually kind of surprised it dropped that. It took that small of a drop. But Inside Out 2, the big boy on the block this week, 155, 140 internationally for right now a worldwide total of $295 million. This is what the movie theaters have been needing for a while. They needed something that was a 4-quadrant film. They needed something that was going to appeal to all ages. All people of all life experiences. Need something that was, it didn't have to be new. It didn't have to be a known product. Could have been new, but I needed something that would attract people back to the theaters. And $155 million opening weekend makes it I just checked. I think it's the 1, 2, 3. It's either the third or the fourth highest grossing June opening of all time. It is the highest grossing opening of the year so far, and makes it one of Pixar's highest openings ever. And if you check out the opening weekends for June, half of the top 10 is now all Pixar films. The highest one's Jurassic World at 208, but it is something we've all needed. We needed a movie that we all wanted to go see. We needed a movie that was good, not just good, great. We needed a movie that makes us want to go back to the movies. And damn it all, this is going to be our first contender for the $1 billion club this year. It's hands down, it's going to be a contender for it. It's going to partly depend on the international too. But I guarantee you this film is going to have some repeat viewing to it. 100% it is. Because right now we are in, I still have been seeing kids in the morning going to school. So clearly summer vacation has been, cut down quite a bit. But we're in the summer movie season for like younger kids being out, middle schoolers being out. This is going to resonate for both younger kids and middle schoolers, even older. It resonates for everyone because we've been in that age range before, or we're about to be, and it's still an animated kids film. So it's going to have that mass appeal. People love the original film. So if they haven't seen it the opening weekend, they're like, okay, we didn't see it opening weekend. Let's go out to see it this weekend. The kids are out of school. Let's do it. And it's going to get repeat business because let's get that Rotten Tomatoes score up here real quick. Last I knew it was 93%. Let's see how that percentage is holding, shall we? Let's see here now. Summertime on Disney. But no, upcoming movies. Come on. 92% from the critics, which is one of the highest rated movies of the year so far by the critics. And that's by the majority. Hey, Bike Riders is getting a good review, side note. And the audience who goes out to see it is giving it a resounding 96%. So this is a win on all fronts. It's a win on the box office, at least our opening weekend. It's a win on the critical side, and it's a win on the audience side. And obviously, the audience is who votes with their money. So with Garfield now in its, I think, third week or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, let me get another thing over here. Garfield is in, I want to say it's in its third week. No, it's in its fourth week. And Despicable Me not coming out for another 2 to 3 weeks, yeah, this thing is going to clean house. This thing is going to make bank because it's made on $200 million, which honestly I can understand that. It's with the amount of stuff going into it, makes perfect sense. The marketing, while giving us 2 different trailers and certainly doing TV spots, I think there's been a clip or 2, has not been super large. It's been enough to get people to the theaters, but I don't recall seeing it being inundated with this film over and over and over again. I'm not even sure I'd say there's $100 million in marketing in this film. I bet there's only like maybe 75 to 100. Even if I highball it at 100, that means that film only is at 300 million, only has to hit 450. That isn't just doable. That's going to happen. That might happen as of next week. It goes to 450 or beyond. It's already at 295. And that's assuming I'm right on that number, by the way. I could be dead wrong on the marketing. So this is nothing short of a fantastic win. Disney, by the way, has been needing a big win. They haven't had a lot come out this week. We'll talk about Kingdom and Planet of the Apes and where it might be this year. And where Planet of the Apes might be by the end of its run. But apart from Planet of the Apes, let me see here. Anything else currently out right now? The worldwide right now. It should give me. Is it going to give me anything that has come out? No, there has been nothing else from Disney this year. This is again, apart from Kingdom, which is technically 20th century, but that is Disney. There has been nothing else from Disney. And with the very lackluster year they had last year, I did the numbers, by the way, last year, folks. They lost money on their films. They lost a lot. Wish suffered. Quantumania barely was able to break even, if my math is right. Captain Marvel lost a butt ton of money. Haunted Mansion was fun, but not a movie that needed to be made $150 million. So, yeah, now you can also say that was a product of the Chapek era, too, for Disney. And Chapek leaving, this film's had already been in production, so we now are in the Bob Iger return era, where he's like course-correcting a lot of shit that needed to be course-corrected. Now, you can love or hate Bob Iger all you want, but you cannot argue with the fact that things where Disney were better with him than they were with Bob Chapek. If you try to make an argument for that, I'm assuming you're biased, because the numbers don't lie on that. So, the numbers are what we call in this world facts, not alternative facts. That's not a thing that exists. But regardless. So yeah, how well this film's going to do, we'll have to wait and see. But it is a fantastic number for Disney. It's a fantastic number for this movie. We're going to have to wait and see how much this film does. In fact, let me just, Inside Out. How much did the first one make? That's kind of our parameters right now. The original Inside Out from 9 years ago, though, holy crap, made $858 million. It was made on $25 million less. So there is that. But that should also note, it eclipsed the original opening weekend for the original Inside Out, which made $90 million, which was a great opening. But it eclipsed that. Just eclipsed. Didn't quite double it, but doesn't need to double it. It eclipsed that number. So 858 is the company we're basically keeping with the original here. So we'll have to see if this film can get close to that number, make more than that number, make it to the billion. Like I said, based on these numbers and based on the response and based on the repeat business this film is going to get for the next 2 to 3 weeks, this is a film that legitimately has a shot for the $1 billion club. Legit, in my opinion. Anyway, though, Bad Boys, Ride or Die, a film that does not have a chance for the $1 billion club, but doesn't need it. 41.6% drop, $33 million, $214 million from the get-go. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Now, if I remember correctly, Bad Boys for Life. One second here. Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys for Life. Or Bad Boys Ride or Die. Sorry, not Bad Boys for Life. That has a budget of $100 million. That's right. Like I said, though, honestly, they didn't do much with the marketing budget on this film. I am more than willing to guess that you're looking at a film on about $50 million marketing budget, which means this film made its money back already. Yeah, or close enough to it, because you factor in the film has to make about $225. So the film is almost at break-even point at this point. This film will definitely make its money back. If it just hits $250, I think that's a win. It's going to do much better than $250. It's probably going to hit at least $300, maybe $400. Can it hit the 4 something of the last one? That remains to be seen, but this is all good numbers. And I guess the question is, why do Bad Boys and Inside Out resonate more than Fall Guy, Furiosa, If? Where did June go right where May went wrong? Because, and another thing is, we haven't had, because of the strikes, we've had a lot of things pushed back. So it's difficult to say whether or not that that plays a big factor in it. But again, at least with something like Furiosa, it wasn't for a quadrant, which admittedly neither is Bad Boys, but I even had I heard audience members with their kids in Bad Boys Ride or Die, so that doesn't make much. But it's not for a quadrant. The R rating doesn't help. Again, Bad Boys kind of disproves that a little bit. But I think it's because not a lot of people cared about the franchise of Mad Max. I think it really just comes down to, and prequels. Prequels can do well. There are examples, but prequels generally aren't what audiences want to see. And yeah, honestly, I don't think anyone cared about Mad Max. If in Fall Guy, though, I keep saying are kind of weird. Like, there's no reason those films shouldn't have done well. Really, there isn't. The only explanations I have is the shortened theatrical window combined with streaming offer an environment where people see the film, want to go see it, but know they'll be able to see it for free on the streaming service they have in a little while. So I feel like it's a combination of that. That's my biggest thoughts on that. But Bad Boys Ride or Die shows that, no, you don't need a fancy gimmicks. You don't need much. If you have an existing IP that people like, and and people are going back to the theater over and over again, and people are enjoying themselves, that's sometimes all you need. And to be fair, the box office definitely needed this year. The box office has been suffering a little bit, but now we're definitely got some well-injected life in here. In fact, if I look at the top 8, which are all in the millions, what is this weekend's box office ultimately at? It's over 200 million. So, I mean, granted, about 75% of that comes from one film, but still. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes made $5.2 million. We're looking at a film currently making $374 million. I still don't think that's enough. I think the film is pretty done. It's now just making whatever it can make domestically. Now the good news is it only took 4% drop this week. It only took a 4% drop. Hypothetically, if it could just keep doing that, it might be able to get to a break-even point if it hasn't already. But, and that's a big but, I don't think that's the case here. I unfortunately don't. And I think it's just that the Apes is a more interesting version of Mad Max. Concept-wise, it's more interesting. Character-wise, it's more interesting. I think, and they were going forward in the story, not backward, technically. So I think it just had a better chance than Furiosa did. But still, clearly not enough. I think the Apes franchise is another one that people like, but aren't clamoring for. So, Garfield made another $5 million. It stands right now at $217 million. Garfield did just fine. $60 million budget at best. You're looking at probably 40 in marketing. This film made its money back a long time ago. And it beat Ghostbusters. Think about that for a second. It beat Ghostbusters. Man. But good for Garfield. Sony's actually got 2 films out right now doing very well for themselves. Garfield and Bad Boys Ride or Die. So, good for Garfield. And again, it's really just the same kind of explanation of why something like Inside Out does well. It's lessened to a certain degree, because Garfield certainly is no Inside Out 2. Like I said, it was benignly harmless. Not amazing, not great, but not bad, not terrible. Just, it's okay. Then we got The Watchers, 3.6 million this week, making 23 million worldwide. Now, I still haven't found the actual budget on this film yet. My guess, though, is I think I saw like 30 million is as a option. That would add up based on the visual effects we have in the film. Not high budget film, but not a film that's going to be making its money back, sadly. It's not a film that's going to do that. I don't think it will anyway. Unless the international comes in and gives it a big push, I don't see it doing it. Which sucks because I think it is among the better horror films I've seen this year. And I haven't seen all of them, mind you, but at least from the ones I didn't see, the only one that looks anywhere near decent would have been Abigail. So, Furiosa dropped in our 42.4%, which is actually impressive seeing as it lost 1,000 screens. 160 million. It's still well in the black. Hasn't even made its budget back. Not even its budget back at 165. We've gone over why I think that failed. Same with Fall Guy. 1.5 million this week. 169, which is fine if it were made on like $40-50 million, but it's not. The Strangers is also pretty done at this point, but it did make its money back. That's good at least. Not much else really to go over. Like, seriously, really nothing much else to go over here. Tarot, 45 million. There's not much else to talk about. But not much else really need to talk about. I mean, like I said, the box office this week is over 200 million, which it hasn't been over 200 million for the total box office. Ooh. I want to say since Barbenheimer. Since Barbenheimer, I don't think it's been that big at the box office, in terms of the box office. I'm trying to think of any other films that could have come out that would have had sizable opening weekends to correct me on that. And none of them. No movies, no weekends were that big after Barbenheimer. So, biggest weekend since Barbenheimer. Hopefully Deadpool Wolverine, which will... It's not the next big film coming out because we... hold on, let me get the box office list up here. Because we got Quiet Place Day 1. No idea what that's tracking for, by the way, but it's going to be decent sized film. The other films opened pretty well. Let's see here. June. Can I get a July? Can I get a July? Then we got Despicable Me 4. That's going to be big. That's going to be a huge opening weekend. Maxine is not going to be a big weekend. Fly Me to the Moon will not be a big weekend. Neither will Long Legs. Let's get into July here real quick. After Despicable Me, what will be the highest opening weekend? That is the question. Let's see here. So we're looking at Twisters. I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know what the vibe on Twisters is going to be. I do not know how big that opening weekend will be. It's not going to be 100 million. That I feel confident in. But 30 to 50, I think, is within the realm of possibility. And then, obviously, the following week, that's going to be your big one. That, right now, the conservative estimate for the opening weekend of Deadpool and Wolverine is between $200 and $239 million. And that's conservative. Oh, my God, is this film going to be huge? And if it's as good as we're hoping it's going to be, it is going to be the biggest film of the year financially. Bar none, hands down, no competition. Thank you and good night. The only other ones that could maybe even stand against it would be like Wicked, because that is a huge fan base. Moana 2, maybe, or Joker 2. And those might be pushing it. But I don't realistically see anything being Wolverine and Deadpool for the long-term box office. But I'm saying this before the film even comes out and before we see what the run of Inside Out 2 or Despicable Me 4 is going to be. So I say this preemptively, but I feel confident in that. Regardless, next week's box office isn't going to be much. You've got the Bike Riders coming out this week, so which I will be there for. I'll be there for the Bike Riders. What else we got? They say why release, but Ghostlight, don't know. Ghostfight, Ghostlight, don't know what that is. Unknown title, great. And The Exorcism, that's the one with Russell Crowe where he's playing a priest on a movie set and then he actually gets possessed. That's probably not going to be doing much. So, not surprisingly, Inside Out 2 is still going to take number 1 next week. I don't know what the Bike Riders is actually tracking at, is the problem. I'll say Bad Boys Ride or Die again. I think Bad Boys Ride or Die will, if it takes another drop like this, which I think is very realistic, I could do, because again, nothing challenging it really right now, then I'll say Bike Riders. I don't think the Bike Riders is actually going to have a very big opening weekend, if I'm going to be honest. Because I think we've just been waiting on it too long. I think it looks like a good movie, but I don't think it's going to be number 1. I think it'll be number 3. After that, I think I'm still going to go Planet of the Apes. I don't think it's going to take 4% again next week, but I think it'll take a small enough drop that it won't be hurt. And then I will probably still go Garfield. So my prediction is Inside Out 2, Bad Boys Ride or Die, The Bike Riders, Planet of the Apes, and Garfield. I could be dead wrong on that, but we'll find out. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.